So welcome back to the channel. Welcome with a new programming language. Now from today we are going to see regarding the concept of Python programming from basics, so which will be help for the interviews and all these things. So in this video let us see regarding fundamentals of Python programming and how the Python program is described, how it is defined, what is the syntax of the particular code and all these things. Generally, the Python programming was developed by Guido van Rossum in the year of 1989. So, whenever you write C program or Java program, there will be some extension to save the particular program. So, in the same way, Python is also having one extension to save the file like file name .py. Py defines Python. So in the same way in C we will write file name .c. In Java we will write class name .java. In the same manner in Python we will write file name .py. So here there is no rule that we have to save our program only at the particular location. We can save anywhere in our computer from desktop or anywhere. So it is a programming language. Actually the programming language we are having high level language, low level language, middle level language. So this Python comes under the high level language category. So whatever the programming language you are writing, the way of defining the things will be very easy. So now to understand the simplicity of the Python programming, let us compare a small program with C with a Python. So you observe here C code. Here we have written include stdio.h, means standard input output void main. I have declared a main function. In a main function I have written hello world. I have written print statement. In print statement I have written hello world. So by running this particular code we are going to get an output called hello world. In the same manner, if you want to write hello world in Java, you have to write a public class. You are defining a class in Java. The name of the class is hello world, and you are writing a main function public static void main. In a main function you are defining arguments, means what are the arguments you want to pass. You are declaring the arguments here, and you are writing a system.out.println hello world, means whatever the statement you want to print, you are going to write that particular print statement here. So by running this particular Java code, you are going to get output called hello world. So the same code, whatever you are writing hello world, if you want to write the particular same program in Python, the easy technique is just write print open brace double quotes hello world. Whatever the text you want to define, the text if you can write in a double quotes. So there is no rule that you have to write only in a double quotes. You can write even in a single quotes, or you can write in a triple quotes also. So these are the three ways where you can write a particular code and you can run. So if you want to perform addition of two numbers, so in a Java, first we are going to take one class. The name of the class is add. So public static void means string arguments. You are passing the arguments. Next you are declaring int a comma b, means you are taking two values. The two values are integer type. A is one value, B is one value. What A is going to store? A is going to store numerical number called 10. Next, what B is going to store? B is going to store numerical number called 20. So after storing a number called 10 and 20, what it is going to do? System.out.println the sum is equal plus A plus B. So here the operation what it is want to perform, the operation will be performed in that particular print statement, and it is going to display the result. So in the same way in a C you can see here include stdio.h main int a comma b. So whatever the things you have written except header file, everything will be the same. You are declaring a and b values, you are printing the statement, but the way of printing the statement will be somewhat different here. So our main agenda is to see Python. So now just see how to write addition of two numbers in Python programming. So here A is equal to 10 I have initialized, B is equal to 20 I have initialized. Next print the sum. The sum here, whatever the thing you have written in double quotes, the particular statement will be printed as it is without any change. The sum comma A plus B, here I have given. Why I have given A plus B? Why? Because I have declared the values in A plus B itself. If you declare a value in P is equal to 10, Q is equal to 20, here you have to write a variables called P and Q. So then you are going to get a result. Without initializing the variables here, you cannot declare the values here, isn't it? So if you declare the same thing, then you are going to get the result of that particular variable. So whatever the Python programming language we are learning, the particular Python programming language having some particular features, or whatever the Java has, the following features, like it is going to support object oriented means it is going to support classes, objects, methods and all these things, and it is going to support the concept of functions, and it is going to support the scripting language and shell script language and all these things. And whatever the programming language you have written, the particular programming language is going to use in any system. If you write your code in one particular system, you can run in that particular code in any system. You can copy that particular code in a pen drive or anywhere. You can run that particular code in any operating system on any device. So that is what a main advantage of Python. So where you can use Python, so Python is programming is using in multiple uh, domains. So mainly where it is using means it is using in developing desktop applications, web applications, database applications, network programming, developing games, for making different analysis of the applications, means how the particular application is working, whatever we have designed, like that, for machine learning, for developing artificial intelligence projects, for IoT, internet of things. So these are only limited. So there are multiple number of applications, but these are the limited applications. So what are the futures for whatever the things, for example, if you are purchasing a phone or laptop, whatever the thing we are purchasing, we are going to see the futures in that. So in the same way, Python is also having some features. So what are the features means, first one, it is simple and easy to learn. The particular programming language will be very simple and easy to learn, and it will be easy to understand. Second one is it is open source software, means open source means whatever the software you want, the software, Python software will be easily downloaded and it will be downloaded for free. It is open source, no need to pay amount for downloading the software. It comes under the category of high level programming language, means it is how we can say high level means it is going to support the concepts of classes and objects. So that is why we will say this is as high level programming language. Next, platform independent. The meaning of platform independent means whatever the program you are writing. For example, you are writing your program in Windows operating system. If you want to run your program in Linux operating system, there is no problem. You can run your program with any operating system, and you can run your program n number of times without any problem. And portability means if you want to change your program from one device to another device, you can change. Or if you want to change from one operating system to another operating system, you can change. You are having a uh, you are having a freedom of changing from one device to another device, or one operating system to another operating system. And next one is dynamically typed. So whatever the values you are typing, the particular values will be assigned, and whatever the values you want to initialize, it will ask each and every time whether these values shall I print, or will you give the new values for printing the variables, like that. So whatever the values you are printing, the values will be object oriented, means it, for every concept, it is going to support the object oriented variables like classes, objects, methods, and it is going to have a particular procedure for doing the task. So each and every programming language is going to run either with the help of compiler or with the help of interpreter. So C program works on compiler, and Python program is going to work with the help of interpreter. So this is the important point that we have to remember. So why it is going to run interpreter means, the C program, what happens is whatever the program we have written, the complete program will be taken at a time for execution, and whatever the errors you have in a program, it is going to display at a time, even your program is 100 lines or 1000 lines. But in a concept of interpreter, what it is going to do is, if your program is having 100 lines or 10 lines or 50 lines, it is going to run line by line. If line number 1 is correct, then only it is going to execute line number 2. That is what interpreter works. So the time for executing the program will be very long if there are multiple number of errors in our code. So extensible means whatever the Python programming language you are learning, you can use another language in the place of Python. So embedded means in one programming language you can use another programming language. This is what an embedded mechanism. So extensive library means whatever the library files you are having, you can build your library files directly by yourself, or you can download the library files, or whatever you want you can do. Limitations of Python. So there will be some of the few disadvantages in Python, such as it is an interpreter programming language. Why? Because it is going to take lot of time for its execution. We cannot design mobile apps by using Python. If you learn Java programming, in Java programming there will be a concepts where you can design web application or Android apps like that, but in a Python you cannot design web applications. So in a Python there are different types of Python like C Python, Jython, Iron Python, PV Python, Ruby Python, Anaconda Python. So these are what different flavors which are having in a Python programming language. Coming to versions of a Python, first and foremost, the Python version was developed in 1994 with the name of 1.0. Afterwards, in 2000, they have released another version with a name called 2.0. After in 2008, they have designed another version 3.0. Present in some computers, some use 3.0 version and some use latest version called 3.6.1. So in Python, we have to know what are the different types of identifiers. Means, for example, if you want to call your friend is going to have an identity, means name. By the help of the name, you are going to call that particular person. In the same way, if you want to store a variable, if you want to store a number called 10, you are going to define a value, a is equal to 10. So if you want to call that number 10, by calling a letter called a, automatically the number 10 is going to print. So if I define a m is equal to 20, if I call m, the 20 value is going to come. That terms, whatever the characters you are defining, the characters are called as identifiers. So whatever the values you want to define identifiers, there is some of the key rules that you are going to follow to define identifiers. Like the identifier should be either capital letter or small letter, or it should be digits. It is, or you can define a values of underscore also, but it is going to, if you defining a special symbols like dollar, it is going to give error. Dollar is equal to 10, if you define like that, it is going to display the error message. You can see here, if I define a value called cash is equal to 10, whenever I ask a cash, it is going to display a value called 10. Instead of that, if I define a value called ca dollar h is equal to 20, the value will not be taken. Why? Because in between the characters I have written a special symbol dollar. So in such case the value will not be considered. So whatever the values you are defining, either you may define integer character, or you define a string, or you define a number, no problem. But the condition is that first you should not start with a number. Here you can see an example 1, 2, 3 total here we have defined. First you should not start with a number. So you can define a value called total 1, 2, 3. So you can see few more identifiers, how the identifiers are defined. So here total is equal to 10 is correct, and total is equal to 999 is correct. So if you want to print 10, how you are going to print of total? So what is the result you are going to get? You are going to get 10. Why? Because this TOTAL is written in small letters. So that is why I have got a output called 10. If you written in capital letters, you are going to get a value called 999. It is a case sensitive language. Whatever the terms you have written, you have to define the terms in the same manner, or else you are not going to get the values whatever you have defined. So these are all the things that we have already gone through. Like identifier should be start with capital letters or small letters, or you can use underscores, but you should not start with a numerical number. That is, these are what the things that you have to know. And whatever the variables you are defining, the defining of the variables will start with a keyword called def. Def defines that you are defining a variable like that. You cannot define a value called, if I write a value called Srinivas is equal to 10, it is going to print a number called 10 whenever I call Srinivas. In such case, if you cannot define a value called def is equal to 10, means def is a keyword where you cannot use wherever we want. So in such cases, the values will not be taken. So you can see here what are the values which are considered and which are not considered. 1, 2, 3 total is not considered. Why? Because the input should start with a character or string. Total 1, 2, 3 is supported. And the fourth one is not supported. Why? Because special character we have got. DEF, IF are the statements where it is not going to support any type of data structures or data variables or looping statements, conditional statements. Such type of variables are not yet supported. So reserved words means whatever the variables, whenever you want to declare variables, you should not use reserved words. So reserved words are the variables which are reserved for some particular tasks, like if, else, if else, nested if else, while, do while. So these are all the variables whatever are used for only for some particular task, isn't it? So there are 33 different reserved words like true, false, none, or, and, not, is, if, elif. ELIF defines as if else, while, for, break, continue, return, in, yield. So these are all the different types of reserved words. So we can see a example program for each and every reserved words in a further coming video. So whenever you are declaring a term called true, that true is a variable which should start with a capital T. A is equal to true. If you want to write, you have to write A is equal to T should start with a capital letter. So if you want to know what are the reserved keywords are there in your Python programming, means you can go to the Python shell and you can enter a keyword called import keyword, and afterwards you can enter keyword.kw list. So you are going to get what are the reserved keywords are there in your Python programming. So data types means these are the different types of data types what it is going to support. Int means what are the numerical numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4 are integer variables. Floating variables means what are the variables which define with the float value like 12.5, 13.5, like that. Complex means and next one is boolean variables. Boolean variables means either it may be two conditions only, either it may be true or false. Str means string. Srinivas is a string, like that. So range means what are the values you want to print up to a particular range. Means 0 to 5. It is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Means it is a range of values it is going to print. List means whatever the variables you want to give, that variables you are going to define in list. Actually list, tuple, set, these are all the different types of inputs which is going to take in a different manner, which we can see in further videos. Dict is a thing which is also takes the input. Dict is termed as dictionaries. So here you can see, here in the box you have defined a is equal to 10, a is equal to 20. Instead of defining like that, you can define a value called a is equal to 10, 20, like that. So here you can see here a is equal to 10, b is equal to 10. Here a and b holds the same value called 10. In such situations you can write a is equal to b is equal to 10. So in such case, if you call a, you are going to get the result called 10. If you call b, you are going to get a result called 10. Why? Because both a and b is holding the same value called 10. If a and b are holding different values, you have to define each and every value individually. But here in below example, it is not the case. Both a and b are holding the same value. So type is a function which helps to check what type of input variable you have given. For example, if you write a type of 12, it is going to give int, means it is an integer value. ID is going to define where the particular address, where the particular object is stored in our device, it is going to give address of the particular object. Print whatever the statement you want to print, that particular statement is going to print. So this is an example. So you can see I have defined a is equal to 10. So to get I want to know what type of variable a is, so that is why I have written type of a. What is the type of a variable? It is an integer variable, so I got an output called int. So whatever the variables you are declaring, you can declare variables like decimal form, binary form, octal form, and hexadecimal form. Generally there are four ways, but mostly we will go with a normal variables, integer variables only. Based upon the requirement of the project or based upon the requirement of the user, it is going to change. So decimal values are the default values which starts with 0 to 9, and binary numbers are the values which are 0 and 1. If the condition is true, it is going to give 1. If the condition is false, it is going to give 0. Like, so whatever the value you want to convert to binary means the value we are going, if I want to convert 2 to binary number, we are going to get either zeros or ones only, because the computer system understands only the binary language. So whatever the input you may give to computer, it is going to get zeros and ones only. So next, hexadecimal values are starts with 0 to 9 and a to f, and it is going to fill with a values called it has a predefined values, means we will not define it, is automatically it have a values called 0x, 0 small x, and 0 capital X, like that. And octal form means these are the values that are having range from 0 to 7. So here you can see some of the statements. Here a is equal to 10, b is equal to 0, 0, 1, 0, c is equal to ox 10, d is equal to ob 10. Like that I have written some type of variables. So okay. So if I want to print a, what is the value of a? 10. So next print b, what is the value I have in b? 0, 0, 1, 0. So it is a binary value. It is not a numerical value. So whenever I asked for print the particular variable, it converts that particular variable to numerical value. Actually the value is 8. It is in the form of binary. So next c is equal to 0x10. So whenever I want to print the c, it is going to give a result called 16. It is converting from binary to numerical form. D is equal to 0b10. So I am going to get result called 2. So to convert binary of a particular number, you can use a small command called bin. You can see an example here, bin of 15. So automatically you are going to get a result called 0b1111. Means the binary number of 15 is that particular statement. So if you give 15 as an input, the computer will take that particular 15 value as the following term. Next, oct. Oct means it is whatever the value you want to give, it is going to give octodecimal number. So you can say oct of 10 means you are going to get a result called 00012, which is an octal number. Hexa means hexadecimal number of, so x of 100 means this is an hexadecimal number for 100. So float data type. So for example, if I have given a value called f is equal to 1.234, if I ask a type of f, means what type of variable it is? Float type of variable. So if I give a is equal to 10, if I ask a type of a, it is going to give int. So based upon the type of a variable, it is going to give a result called int, char, float, double, string, like that. So the main advantage of using this type conversion, type casting, all these methods is it is going to occupy very less memory. So whatever the small programs we have saw till now, these occupies very less amount of memory for processing the task. So if you see here, we have written a value, some hexadecimal value. So if I want to print that particular statement, if you want to run that particular statement, it will show the error in the following manner. You can see in the third line you are having some error. So it will show the error in this following manner. So you can observe fifth line, syntax error, invalid syntax. So based upon the particular error, you can update the program until your program should be a error free program. Next, complex data type. Complex data type are the variables which should have a plus I bj. So a, here we are having a two parts. One part is a real part and another part is an imaginary part. Here a plus bj, a is a real part and b is an imaginary part. So here in this example you can consider 3 plus 5j. 3 is a real part and 5 is a imaginary part, like that. 10 plus 5.5j, here 10 is a real part and 5.5 is a imaginary part. So here you can see a is equal to 10 plus 1.5j, b is equal to 20 plus 2.5j. So here both are type of one type of variable. So here I can perform addition operation of a and b. C is equal to a plus b. So if I call c value to print, automatically I am going to get result. The answer for the real part will be different. The answer for the imaginary part will be different. So 10 plus 20 is 30 and 1.5 plus 2.5 is 4. So that is why I got a total value as 30 plus 4j. Here real part is 30, imaginary part is 4. It is a what type of data type it is? It is a complex data type. It is means it is a combination of integer and float value. Next data type is bool data type. Bool means it is a boolean data type. So whatever the value you are giving, whether the value condition is correct, it is going to give a result, only two results. Either it may give the result called bool of true or it will give the result of bool of false. Or it can also give result called 0 and 1. 0 means false and 1 means true. So you can see here a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. Here I have given a condition called a less than b. So it is going to give result true. Why? Because a is less than b. Next str. str defines that it is a string. So here in a beginning of the video I already told we can start the string either with a single quote or with a double quote. So here in S1 is equal Durga. It is absolutely correct. Why? Because they have started with single quote and ended with single quote. And below the second one S1 is equal Durga, they have started with double quotes and ended with double quotes. It is also the correct way of defining. But if you observe here S1 is equal Durga, they have started with double quotes and they have not ended the quotes here. So without ended the quotes it is incomplete task. The task, so you are going to get the error over there. So whatever the task you are going to start, you are going to end with a double quotes only. So here there is another called triple quotes. Triple quotes means if you are starting with triple quotes, you have to end with a triple quotes itself. So here if you are using a triple quotes, inside that, for example, if you are writing a story, if you are using a triple quotes in the beginning and ending of the story, in between of the story you can use double quotes and single quotes. If you are using a double quotes in the beginning and ending of the line, you can use single quotes inside the line. You can see this below example. This is character. Here I have used a single quote. This is double quote, and after character I have ended double quotes and all. So here you can see another example. For this I have started triple quotes. This Python class is very helpful. Python class is very helpful. I have written in double quotes. For Java students, after completing my statement, I have ended with triple quotes. Means inside the triple quotes, I can use double quotes. Where I have used double quotes, Python class is very helpful. So slicing can be defined as whatever the input you are having, you can divide our input to the n number of partitions or n number of pieces. So how many number of pieces our input is divided means based upon the size of our input, the input is divided. So the input will be counted from 0. You can see here my input is Durga. So here in Durga, D will be 0, U will be 1, R will be 2, G will be 3 and A will be 4. So here in this input, if I want to get any value, if I want to get R, where R is located, here D is located in a position 0, U is located in a position 1, R is located in a position 2. So if I want to get R value, I am going to call S of 2. Then I am going to get a value called R. So if I want to get A, then I am going to get, then I should call S of 4. So why I am using a term called S every time? Because the value Durga is stored in S for me. If the value Durga is stored in M, I will use M. So like that, wherever the value is stored, I am going to use that particular value. So here, if I want to get a call a value called A, so the A is very far from our input. So in such cases, to reduce the time complexity of our input, so I will come from reverse manner. So in the reverse, you can read it as -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So if I want to get A value, I will call S of -1. I will automatically get a value called A. So in these both ways, you can call the variables whatever you have defined. So if you observe here, our range is 0 to 4 here. If you define S of 20, you are going to get error. Why? Because we did not have 20 variables here. We are having only 4 variables. So here you can see the next one is S of 1 to 40. Means what is the meaning of that? Whatever the input we are having, I want from first letter to 40, means whatever the remaining letters are there up to 40 I want to get. So for what is the first letter for me? Here you can see here. What is the first letter? U. To 40 means there are no 40 elements for me. What are the remaining? U, R, G, A. So that is the result I am going to get. You can see S of 1 colon. So what is the meaning of 1 colon? So starting with the first letter, I have to come get all complete letters. So U, R, G, A. S of colon 4. So what is the meaning of colon 4? So means whatever the values be below the 4, I want all those. D, U, R, G. 4 is a letter. A letter is 4. So I don't want fourth letter. So I want. So whatever the value you have declared here, that below value up to that below value preceding value only is going to get our result. So whatever the input you have given, if you want your complete input, so you have to give us yes colon. Colon defines that whatever the complete input you have given, I want that complete input like that. So what you have defined in yes, you have declared Durga. So if you want yes into 3, what is the meaning of that is whatever the input you have given, you want to print that input 3 times. It is going to print 3 times. So next len of yes. Len defines that length of the input. So what is the length of the input? DURGA, 5 characters. So it is going to display 5. Like that we can use different queries for different types of data values, whatever input we are giving. So we are saw different type of variables like int, float, complex, bool, string. So here I have written C is equal to A. So what is the A actually? A is a character or A is a string. So here in a Python, even though you given a character, it will treat it as a string. If you write a type of C, why we have written type of C? The value A is stored in C. That the class is string. Means the type of variable is string. So typecasting defines that what type of variables you have given. The variables are defined in a typecasting. So the different typecasting variables like int, floor, complex, bool, string. Int means integer variables. So we have saw just now, you can see here int of. Actually what is the value I have given in input? 123.123.987 is a float variable actually. If I am asking only integer part on that particular input, means it is going to give before the point, before the dot, whatever the input I am having 123. So it is going to print that. So next int of 10 plus 5j. This is a real part and imaginary part value. We cannot define each and every value individually. So that is why I will get error. So next, int of true. So whatever the value I have given as an integer, is it integer or not? Yes, true. If I got a result as 1 means it is true. Int of false means if my result is wrong, I am going to get a result as 0. Next, int of 10 means whatever the input I am giving, I am going to get a value 10. The 10 is an integer value. Of course, I am going to get a 10. So here I have written int of 10.5. 10.5 is not an integer value. It is a float value. So I am going to get error. Next, int of 10. 10 is also not an integer value. I have written their text form. So that is why I have got error there. So in this manner, we have to define different types of data types of int, char, float, boolean, double, all these things. So now let us see how different float values are going to define and how different float values allocation and all these things are happen. Next, float of 10. Actually 10 is an integer value. If you want float of that particular value means you have to write 10.0. Next, float of 10 plus 5j means 10 plus 5j is a real part and imaginary part. You cannot define individually, so error. Next, float of true. Whatever the input you have given, if that particular value is true means you are going to get result called 1.0. Next, float of false 0.0. Next, float of 10 means it will convert integer value to float value 10.0. Float of 10.5. 10.5 is a float value, it will display as it is. Next, float of 10. 10 is a character here, so you are going to get error. So next, float of 0b1111. This is not a integer value, float value, real value. So I am going to get error. So complex variables. The complex variables is a combination of real part and imaginary part, like a plus ij, like this. So you can see here in the complex variables, they have declared complex of 10 is equal to 10 plus 0j. Next, complex of 10.5, 10.5 plus 0j. Next, complex of true, I'm going to get a result called 1 plus 0j. And complex of false, if that result is false, I am going to get 0j. Next, complex of 10. So what is the 10 value? We are going to get 10 plus 0j. Next, complex of 10.5, 10.5 plus 0j. Next, complex of 10 here they have given. So it is not a either integer value or float value. Then you are going to get error. Next, if you want to compare or if you want to perform a different operations, so you can use a value called complex of 10 comma minus 2. So how you are going to get 10 plus 10 minus 2j. Next, bool is a variable which is going to print only the two values. One is true and another one is false. If the condition is true, it is going to print a value called true. One, if the condition is false, it is going to print a value called 0. Here you can see bool of 0 false, bool of 1 true, bool of 10 true, bool of 10.5 true, bool of 0.178 means it is a boolean value or not, true. Next, bool of 0.0, it is not, we cannot define, so false. Bool of 10 minus 2j, true. Like that, for whatever the variables it is boolean, it is going to display the result called true. So here you can see the small architecture, how the boolean variable is true, how it is defining whether it is true or false. So if it is if whatever the input we are giving, if that particular input is in a database data type, it is going to give 0. If the value is false, it is going to give 0. If the value is true, it is going to give 1. If a value of x in a float means, in the same way, whatever the value, if it is real, if it is integer, if it is float, if it is character, if it is complex, whatever the data type it is, if the given input is false, it is going to give 0. If the given input is true, it is going to give 1. Next, string data type. So str of 10, it is going to print 10. Str of 10.5, it is going to print 10.5. Str of 10 plus 5j, it is going to print 10 plus 5j. Str of true, true. means whatever the thing I have written inside of str, it is going to print the same as it is with so I am storing the value in str, so it is printing for me. So here you can see here. So here I have declared a value called a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 10. A is b means a is equal to b or not. It is going to check. So true. Next, id of a means we are going to identify. Id defines that it is an identifier. What is an identifier of a? 172 some value we have got. Next, id of b. Next, identifier of b. So you can see here with the different examples. A is equal to 10. We have different a value, b value, and id of a I have got one value, and id of b I got some value. Is a is b means a is b means the meaning is that is a is equal to b or not. So it is equal to b. So here these are the another example, like these are the real and complex values. This example with real and complex values. These are examples with boolean variables like true and false. These examples with the characters Durga, A is equal to Durga, B is equal to Durga. Is A is B. Whatever the values are there in A are there in B or not. Yes, true. Next, ID of A means identifier of A. Next, ID of B, identifier of B. Like that we are going to define the identifier. So next, bytes. Whatever the values you are defining, here in the bytes we are going to define a group of numbers. How you define in an array? Here, like in the same manner, here we are going to define a group of numbers. So here I have taken a set of numbers like x is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40. So next I am going to define byte where x I have stored. B is equal to bytes of x. I have stored the x value in B. So what is the type of B? What is the type of B here? Bytes. Next, in B, I am having X. So I can call these values as B of 0, B of 1, B of 2 and B of 3. So what is B of 0? 10. And what is B of minus 1? 40. So in a previous, just 5 minutes back, we already told it is counted as 0, 1, 2, 3, and in reverse it is counted as minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. So that is why I got value called 40. So this you observe this syntax for I in B. So if I value is present in B value or not, if I value is present in B value, print the values whatever present in I. So it is going to print all the values which are present in B. So if the all values are there in B for me, so that is why whatever the values is there in B, I am going to store the values in I, and I am printing the same values whatever I have stored in I. So what are the values? 10, 20, 30, 40, the same values I have printed. So in this example here, by B of 0 is equal to 100 they have given. So why we have gotten 100 here? So here why? Because here x is, in this example x they have defined a set of values. Next, b is equal to bytes of x they have given. Next, b of 0 is equal to 100 they have given, but b of 0 is equal to 10. So whatever the values we have defined, we have to declare properly. So next is a way we are defining list. List is the thing which is a data structure actually. So whatever the variable you want to store, you are going to store that particular data structure in a how many variables you want to declare. You can declare the multiple number of variables in the particular list. So while defining a list, you are going to give the name for the list like Srinivas A B C like that. Here I have given a name of the list as list only. I have in the list you can define different types of variables like int, char, float, string, whatever you want you can declare. Here you can see I have defined 10, 10.5, Durga, true, 10. So if I want to print the complete list, I'm going to get all the values. If I want to print a list of 2, so what I'm going to get list of 2, 10 is 0, 10.5 is 1, 2 is Durga. I'm going to get Durga as an output like that. You can see example here. List of 0. What is the list of 0? 10. List of -1, 40. List of 1 to 3 means whatever the values from 1 to 1 to 3, and 20 and 30. 0, 1, 2, 3. 20 and 30. The third value will not come. Why? Because 1, 2, 3 means 1 and 2 are the values are going to get. The third value will not going to get. So whatever the value you are printing here to 3, that particular statement will not come. 10 is 0th element, 20 is first element, 30 is second element, and 40 is third element. So the third element will not get. Before that, -1 element we are going to get. So list of 0 is equal to 100. So here we are defining list of 0 is equal to 100. So for I in list, for whatever the list I am having, I am going to store the complete list in a value called I. So and I am printing that particular I. So whatever the values are there in I am going to get all the values. So here you can observe for what is actually what is the 0 value for us, 10. So here I am updating the 0 value from 0 value from 10 to 100. So that is why it is updated as 100, 20, 30, 40. So this is a new keyword, append. Append means whatever the list we are having with us, we can add a new variable where the 30 will be added. After 30, the 30 will be added. You can see here list.append of Durga. After appending the value, we are going to get a result called Durga, 10, 20, 30 Durga. List.remove of 20, where the 20 value is present, it is going to remove. If the 20 value is present in our list, automatically it is going to remove. Next, list 2 is equal to list into 2. Means I am going to create a new list. What is the name of my new list? List 2. Means list into 2 means it is going to print our old list 2 times. Means 10, 30 Durga, 10, 30 Durga. Next, tuple. Tuple is also a data type, but the difference between the list and tuple is here in the list we can perform an operation called we can append the value, whatever the value you want, you can add in future also. But in the case of tuple, you cannot add the values in future. How many values you want to add, you have to add before itself. That is what the main difference between list and tuples. And another difference is what while declaring a list you are declaring in a square basis. In while declaring a tuple you are declaring in a normal braces. So that is what another major differences in between the list and tuples while declaring. Next, type of T. What is the type of T? It is the tuple. How you are identifying it is a tuple based upon the symbols. Next, T of 0 is equal to 100. You are trying to insert you are trying to update a 0 value from 10 to 100. You got an error here. You cannot update. T dot append of Durga. You want to add a new variable called Durga. So you cannot add a new variable. Why? Because you cannot add any variables after once you have declared. So next, T dot remove. You are trying to remove value called 10. It is not possible. So already I have told in a list you can do whatever you want, but in the tuple once whatever you have declared you cannot remove, you cannot add, you cannot perform any operation. Just you can see whatever that you have data you are having with you. Next, range. Actually range is a data structure which is going to print the particular set of values up to the range whatever we want. So here you can see range of 10. If you give a command called range of 10, it is going to give a value called 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is not going to give 10. Okay. So to print the values of range, you can use this particular looping statement. R is equal to range of 10. For I in R, print I. For I in R means for I variable, whatever the variables I am having in R, I am going to store that in I. Means I am going to store 10 in a I variable. Next, print of I is going to print whatever the value I have stored 10. Up to 10 it is going to print. Range of 10 comma 20 means it is going to print 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Next, 10 comma 20 comma 2. So here these are the type of variables means 10 comma 20 it is going to print actually 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. But here the another one is comma 2 they have given. Means what is the thing is, it is going to print a variables with a difference of two values, means 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, like that it is going to print. So r is equal to range of 10 comma 20, means here we are defining r value with range of 10 comma 20, means r of 0 is 10, r of 1 is 20. Means if you want to define r of 15, we cannot get. Why? Because in r I am having only two values. 0th index is 10, first index is 20. So here I have defined L is equal to list of range of 10. So here if I want to print L value, I am going to get a value called up to 10 values I am going to get range. Next, set is a data type where you are going to perform different type of operations like insertion, all these things. Let us see. So this is a data type where you can perform this operation if you want to print a set of groups of variables. Okay. So here I have taken a value called s is equal to 10, 0, 10, 200, 10 Durga. So here if I want to print any variables, so s dot add of 60. So what it is going to do after our list 10, 10, 100, 0, 10, 200, 10 Durga, it is going to add 60. So s dot remove of 100. It is going to check the complete input. If there is any 100 value, it is going to remove, like that. So next, frozen set. This is a concept is same. What happens is in the frozen set we cannot add the variables whenever you want, like list, like tuples. The concept is same as a tuple. So in a tuples also we cannot add elements wherever we want. So here yes I have declared 10, 20, 30, 40. If fs is equal frozen set of s, means the values will be fixed. We cannot change the values. So if you want to add or if you want to remove, you are going to get error. Next, dict. Dict is a data type. The full form of dict is dictionary. In a dictionary, you are having a two values like a key and value. So here 101 Durga, 102 Ravi, 103 Shiva. Like that, I have defined three values. Like D of 101, I have declared here Sunny. Means here you can see here D of 101 is Durga, and I have updated 101 value from Durga to Sunny. So what I am going to get D 101 Sunny. So like that you can update the dictionary values. You can update a key value, keys and values, whatever you want. Here you can see D of A is equal to apple I have written. D of B is equal to banana I have written. Next, print of D means you cannot get the print of B. Why? Because you have written only keys. You have not written values for that. The dictionary should be in this manner: key and value, comma, key value, comma, key value. But here you have not written, you have written only key value. There is no key. That's why. So overall, the summary is whatever the data types you are having integer data type, float data type, complex data type, boolean data type, string data type, bytes data type, byte array data type, range data type, list, tuples, sets, frozen set, dictionaries. None data type means whatever the data type which is not, it is going to get nothing value, means none. Escape data type means whatever the value you want to escape from printing, it is going to get escape. You can see here s is equal to Durga software. Here Durga slash and I have given. So if I want to print yes, I am going to get Durga only. Slash and software, slash and where I have kept slash and, it is going to eliminate the next elements what I am having from that particular point. So these are what general comments. Means slash n is a new line. Slash t if you new tab. Slash r it is a return statement. Slash b backslash slash f form feed, like that. These are the different tabs we can use. So constants means whatever the variables you want to keep as a fixed variables are the constant variables, like max value is equal to 10 means maximum value is equal to 10. It is a fixed value. Whenever you call max value, you are going to get a value called 10. So this is the basic introduction of Python programming.